deflected and intercepted. Running along the near sideline, it's Darius Slay. Breaks a tackle at the 30. Pick six, Darius Slay.
Inside the one, handoff to Eckler, into the end zone.
Let's go! Here we go! Let's go!
All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 55 of the Backseat Huddle podcast. As always, I'm your host, Tristan Weber. And today we are going, rather, I don't know why I'm saying we, I'm the only one here. I'm going to be rating NFL teams based on their week one performances. And I'm also going to be giving out awards based on week one performances. So I'm going to hand out MVP, offensive player, defensive player of the year, all based on week one performances. I'm going to be doing this each week. So I'll give you an MVP next week based on the first 2 weeks. And then the next week after that based on 3 weeks, et cetera, et cetera. You get the idea. Rating NFL teams based on their performance this week using the no rules rating system, which means I'm rating them however the hell I want with whatever metric I want. And we're going to start with the Dallas Cowboys. A+. Come on now. What did you expect? I have some concerns with the way that Dak Prescott looked as he only completed about 50% of his throws. Well, let's not nitpick here, man. They won the damn game 40-0 and deserve to be given an A+ just based on that. Dolphins. Miami Dolphins are getting a B. So the offense looked great, but the defense looked poor. The way the Dolphins played this week isn't repeatable. I don't think it's realistic to say that Tua is going to throw for 400 yards every single game, but I do think it's reasonable to assume that this offense is going to continue to perform well each week. So that's not my issue so much. The issue is the defense wasn't good. Giving up 200 plus yards on the ground is going to get you beat most weeks. So for that, they get a B. New York Giants. You already fucking know. Eagles, B+. They showed some of the things that made them so successful last season. However, I didn't see them as quite buttoned up or tight. I think I may be grading them a little bit harsh based on my expectation because obviously they were great last season. I kind of thought they might blow out the Patriots, especially considering they opened up this game with a 16-0 lead in the first quarter. The fact that they only scored 9 points after that raises a little bit of an eyebrow for me, but they're just too talented to perform to that level for the rest of the season. So B+ it is for the Eagles. Los Angeles Rams. I'm giving the Rams an A. They were okay in the first half, but they were great in the second half. I wasn't super impressed with the first half once again, as they only scored 7 points and they had a field goal blocked, but they did move the ball okay, and their first drive was disgustingly efficient. Then the second half, everything clicked. They absolutely dominated the Seahawks from the minute the second half kicked off until the final whistle blew. I was really impressed with the Rams. I don't know if that level of defensive excellence is sustainable for them, but damn, they looked good in that second half. Titans and Saints. They don't get individual grades because they both got the same grade, and their grade was boring, bad quarterback. I didn't watch this game. Sue me. I didn't have to. I had this one circled as one I was not going to watch because I knew it was going to suck and it was going to be a boring game and it wasn't going to be a good game. And I was right. I'm not watching any games that these teams play this year if I don't have to. I don't think either of these teams are very good, and I think they're both boring. Atlanta Falcons get a C+. They won the game, but there wasn't much to like aside from that. They gave up 4 sacks, and they only threw the ball like 20 or so times. Desmond Ridder only averaged 7.5 yards per completion, and the Panthers' running game gashed the hell out of the Falcons. This is a concerning win for Atlanta if there is such a thing. They did not look good in week one. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs rating this week is Mahomes can't catch the ball 2 out of 10. The rating says it all. They need a playmaker. Not landing D-Hop in the offseason really hurts right about now. 49ers, 10 out of 10. They played the most complete game of any team all week. If you want to nitpick, there was some concern on special teams where the Steelers kick return unit regularly looked like they were a broken tackle away from scoring on a kickoff return. Aside from that, San Francisco looked amazing. They were the most complete team in week 1, top to bottom. Detroit Lions get an A. The Lions' on-field performance wasn't worthy of an A, but the symbolism and what this game means does. As a perpetually losing franchise like the Lions are, the Lions coming out week 1 making a statement win against the defending champions feels like a springboard that maybe this team is different. So for that, I'll give them an A for their performance this week. Steelers, 1 out of 10. There is a list of adjectives I could use for how the Steelers played and what happened to them, but the word I've decided to use is extirpated, which means root out and destroy completely, because that is exactly what happened to the Steelers this week. Jacksonville Jaguars get a B+. They held the Anthony Richardson-led Colts offense to only 14 points, and they sacked him 4 times, which sounds really good, but I can't bring myself to make myself just go too crazy beating a rookie quarterback in his first start. The game was also closer than the final score indicates, but the Jaguars did a lot right in this game, so B+ feels about right. New England Patriots, B. If I were grading them from the second quarter forward, I probably would have given them a B+ or maybe an A-. I was really impressed with the way the Patriots played after they fell in that 16-0 deficit. After the first quarter, when they were in that 16-0 hole, they outscored the Eagles 20-9. Their defense stood up to the Eagles' excellent offense really well, especially their defensive line and secondary. They played like a Belichick coached team, and their offense also looked significantly improved over last season. The Patriots right now look like a playoff contender once again. And lastly, the Seattle Seahawks get a C. In the first half, they got a B+. In the second half, they were pathetic and miserable. Midway through the fourth quarter, the Seahawks had -1 passing yard in the second half. How the hell do you do that in 2023? They couldn't do anything offensively in the second half. They couldn't do anything defensively in the second half. They got out-coached in a big way coming out of the break. This game was fairly even up until that point, but after that, they just got dominated by the Rams. It was all the Rams for the entire second half, and for that, I'm giving them a C. I probably should have gone worse if I'm being honest, but I wanted to kind of try to be nice. Let's move on. Here's the NFL awards if they were given out after 1 week of action. MVP, Tyreek Hill. This dude was all over the place in this game. 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. Congratulations on him for being the first wide receiver since Jerry Rice to win the MVP in my silly little imaginary world. Offensive Player of the Year, Austin Eckler. Christian McCaffrey could have also been here because he had an excellent debut against the Steelers, but Eckler was a little bit more versatile. Eckler had 16 carries for 117 yards, and he also had 4 catches for 47 yards. I like the versatility, so I'm going to go with Eckler here. He also had a touchdown. I just realized I forgot to bring up. Defensive Player of the Year, Jordan Whitehead for the Jets. He picked off Josh Allen 3 times on Monday night, and because of that, he is currently pacing 51 interceptions for the season. There were multiple guys that had 3 sack performances this week, but we see those here and there. Very seldom do we see 3 interception performances. So Jordan Whitehead is currently the Defensive Player of the Year if the award was given out after week 1. Comeback Player of the Year, Mac Jones. Mac Jones did not look good last season, and there were busloads of people that were calling him a bust and just slandering this dude's name. To open up this season, he went 35 of 54 for 316 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception against an Eagles defense that was excellent last season. I'm sure you want to give this award to Damar Hamlin, but he didn't suit up. So it's going to go to Mac. Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year, Robert Saleh. Look, this dude loses Aaron Rodgers on the 3rd or 4th play of the game and still manages to put together a game plan to hold Josh Allen to one of the worst games of his entire career and keep the game close enough to win on a miracle punt return in overtime. Saleh is clearly the pick for Coach of the Year after week 1. Assistant Coach of the Year, Raheem Morris, the defensive coordinator for the Rams, has to have this spot. Name me 4 defenders not named Aaron Donald on this Rams defense. It's okay. I can't do it either. They held a strong Seahawks offense, only 13 points and scoreless in the second half. Halfway through the fourth quarter, the Seahawks had -1 yard passing in the second half. Like after a quarter and a half of play, they had negative passing yards. How do you do that? Amazing work by Raheem Morris. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Puka Nacua, also known as, who the hell is Puka Nacua? You've never heard of this guy. I've never heard of this guy. The only way you've heard of this guy before Sunday was if you were a BYU fan or a Rams fan. Even if you're a Rams fan, I don't truly believe that you knew who this guy was. Either way, 10 receptions for 119 yards in your NFL debut as a 5th-round pick. Great start to his career. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I don't have one, mainly because there weren't really any rookie defensive standouts this week. So that's it. That's my show. Hopefully you like something a little bit more lighthearted. Hopefully it's all right to take a step away from the analysis for one day. Feel free to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, hit me in the comments. That didn't really make any sense, but if you're interested, you're listening on Spotify, feel free to hit me with the follow and the 5-star review. It's over in the top left. I'm butchering this exit. I'm butchering it. Anyways, take care, everybody.